Hello, everyone. How are you guys? Welcome in. We are so happy to have you. Um, I'm just checking to see if we're launching out. We should be live. Um,
We're on. Hi,
we're
everyone. Welcome in. Please let us know where you are tuning in from as you come in. And don't forget to hit that like button and share this video while you're at it.
Yes, I'm just making sure we're live on. Oh, yep, we are here. I don't know why mine's is always a delay, but thank you everyone for coming in. We so appreciate you guys coming in. And on top of that, we've been asking you also during this credit boot camp, please let us know what your goal is in these upcoming months so
Mhm.
we can even give you tips as we're doing this on ways to help you reach your goals, what you want to get financing, and really what are you strategizing towards. We are not going to hold you up. I'm talking about tonight ways that you can increase your credit score overnight. So, if you guys are looking for the quickest way to affect your credit score, many people think it's always about disputing, removing negative items, but that is far from the truth. The quickest way to increase your credit score is always going to focus on your utilization. So, it is true. The biggest chunk of your credit score is payment history. But what people negate, the second biggest chunk is utilization. So payment history, 35%, but utilization is 30%. That's 5% off from payment history. Now, payment history is payments over time, where utilization, it gives you an opportunity to really increase and actually affect your credit score in that 30-day window. So it can fluctuate. Now, you can increase that really quickly, but the downside, it is the fastest way to tank your credit score also. So you want to always, if you're looking to really skyrocket your credit, your main opportunity is going to be with your utilization. And adding that with payment history, that's 35%. That's 65% of your credit score. Payment history, 35%. And then you got utilization, 30%. If you're under a 700 credit score, if you focus on those two areas, you can really see a great impact in your credit score. Now, what's some ways to actually affect your utilization overnight? Now, many of you want to look at your current credit cards. So many of people will say, about, different rotations of your statement date, but what you want to look at, what is your payment due date? Okay? So if you have a credit card and it's due on the 5th of the month, keep in mind credit cards generally, it will rotate the due date. Okay, so it's not going to be the same date sometimes all the time. So you want to look at your statement because your calendar days rotate. So you have 30 days, then you have 31 days, and a month like February, it can be 28 days or 29 days. So you want to look at your statement payment date, the payment date every month. You want to either pay before that date or on that date. So if you have a credit card, that's the payment date is the 5th, then 4 days after that payment date is the report date. This is the date that your credit card company report the balance to your credit bureaus. It'll tell them what the balance is on that card. Now, maybe about a couple of years ago, I'm going to say 5 years ago, you used to could get away with, if you pay that card, say you have a $4,000 credit line. Right now, it's $3,000 that you're carrying. You used to can, let's say, pay $2,000 on that due date of that card, and when that report date come around, they would report that you have about $1,000 as a balance on that account. But now what they're doing, if you pay that card down and you think, hey, I just put $2,000 on this card, it should update that $2,000 payment is made. That is not going to be necessarily true. If you use that card within that 4-day window of time, say you go out and get a TV, and now you put a TV for $1,000 on that credit card, it's going to reflect that. So in essence, all you're going to see is a credit of $1,000 because they updated. So you want to make sure, it's very important that you do not use that card in that 4-day window. Look at your credit report and wait till it updates. Okay. Now, once it shows on your credit report that balance, if you max it out, which I'm not telling you to do that, understand it's not going to show on your credit report. It will be hidden because your cards can only report just about every 30 days. So here's that opportunity. If you pay that card, even after that due date, long as it's in that 4-day window. Now, you can sometimes do it 24 hours, and that will give you that overnight. Some people, maybe your payment, your paycheck doesn't hit, at a particular time, and you need that extra 4 days. Make sure that you try to pay it in that window. I suggest, to be safe, 48 hours. That's what I suggest. Try to do it within 48 hours, but there's times you can get it within that 24-hour window. So with utilization, I have seen people, a particular person that I know that was in my group, they had like a 580 credit score. They made all their payments on time on their credit cards. And when I sat down with them and looked at their credit score, I told them, you really have really good credit under here. But what the problem was, their cards was close to being maxed out, and they didn't understand that. So once we went over that, they were able to pay their cards down within 1 month. They went from a 580 credit score to a 829 credit score. That's how serious, you guys, your utilization is. So just like with that card that I'm saying, if you have that, the payment date is on the 5th, you want to pay it by the 9th. You want to make sure, actually before the 9th, that you have a payment in that window of time. And so you can see an increase by 100 points, depending on the utilization on that card. Any card that you have that's going over that 30%, you're really starting to lose points. But if you have to pick, anything that's over that 60% mark is really tanking down your credit score. So for instance, a lot of you guys really don't have a lot of high credit card debt because it's a positive and sometimes a negative thing. But a positive thing, when you have smaller credit cards, those, it might be maxed out, but they're smaller cards, something achievable for you to pay down. If you have cards like that, Make sure that can be the issue tanking your credit score. I have sat down with people, they have other large credit cards that they were not using. It just so happened that they charged something on that smaller credit card and didn't realize that that card, for instance, it was a $300 credit line and they charged like 290. And when we went through it, they were like, I don't know why I did that, but they weren't aware of this rule. So, what you guys might see on Experian, or let's say your TransUnion, it'll show your overall utilization is very low. But what you don't realize, because you have that one card being close to maxed out, it will tank your credit score. So the other cards could be clear, but because that other small card that you have is close to being 100% maxed out, the closer you get to that, the more points you will lose. You might need to just adjust that. And then you can see your credit score skyrocket. Now, with my elite credit system, we do use Smart Credit and they have something called Score Boost. So, everybody in my group, I always tell them, because this changed from month to month, make sure that you're using Score Boost, and it actually emails you your best pay down date. So, the way Score Boost work, it's a gauge. Say you need 60 points, it'll show you where your score would be if you pay your cards off, and if you need that 60 points, how to pay those cards down and the exact date you need to pay it down by and when it should update. So it'll do that for you. It'll let you know if you put $40 on this card, that'll give you 25 points. You know, say if it's say $100 on this card, this will give you 60 points. It'll let you know how to allocate your funds. So if you don't have a lot of money to work with, it'll show you where the best bang for your buck is. Now, if you want to do that on your own, what you would do is go to your credit score provider, whatever you're using, even if you're using Credit Karma, look at the last time that card reported from last month. It'll show you the last time that card updated. So it might say the 5th. Just use that as an indication. That's going to be the report date. It'll tell you when it reported. If it said the 5th, that means your due date most likely is around the 1st or the 2nd. Okay, so that's a way you can gauge it yourself. Now, if you want to be exact about it, call your credit card company. Ask them on every card, what's my report date? They can tell you what your report date will, but just keep in mind, it's not going to be consistent every single month. So the way you can do this, say you have that card that's coming up on the 5th, you know by the 9th, that card is going to report to the credit bureaus. So you can aim at that card. Now you might have another card by the 10th is the due date. You know that by the probably like around the 14th that card is going to report. So you can every due date of your credit card have an opportunity to increase your credit score. Don't think that I have to put all this money on one particular card. Only if that card is your problem card, the most maxed out card. What you can do is look at your credit cards. Just look at your credit cards and see which ones are the closest to being maxed out. And you may want to focus your efforts on those cards. And depending on when it lands, you might want to pay that card as close as being down as possible. If you need to go get a loan, if you need to get an apartment, I have did this in the past. I'm not recommending it, but I'm just saying, if you are in desperate need, sometimes you can put your paycheck on that particular card if it's going to bring it down. And then after it report, then you can use that card because your paycheck is on that card. And then immediately go for that loan. Immediately go for that home loan, lock that in. Even if you guys are trying to get a mortgage, you don't want to show all that utilization. That's right now, you guys, what's getting people denied, because what they're looking at is your income versus your DTI, debt to income. So if you already know you have a particular card, it could be a $300 card that's getting you guys denied for your loans and you don't even know it. So please make sure you look at this, because you don't want to get denied just arbitrarily. So it could just be you waiting 4 days. The difference between you getting a loan or not getting a loan. The difference between you getting that car that you want or not getting the car that you want. It can be the difference between being approved for that apartment or not approved for that apartment. I know it seems like a lot. I know it seems tedious, but if you need what you need right now, you want to be aware. Another thing that you guys want to be aware, once you pay that down, if you're going for loans, be mindful. Part of what goes into that DTI is when you're answering questions about things, how much rent that you're paying. If it is not reporting on your credit report, many of times, unless maybe for a mortgage, maybe they're really not requiring for you, that actual proof of that. That might affect your DTI, okay, your debt to income. So instead of saying, hey, I pay $2,000 in rent, um, it could be $1,000 in rent. That those kind of things that's not showing a lot of times make a difference. I'm just telling you guys, be aware of what you are putting down, because these are the things that DTI also incorporate is your different bills. Do not shoot yourself in the foot. Men, I know some women, be careful when they're asking about child support obligations. They're counting that against you. So you might pay down your credit card, increase your credit score, but if you're going for a personal loan, or if a loan officer, especially for mortgages, asks you about child support obligation, if it's not showing on your credit report, just keep in mind the information I'm telling you, they're looking at that. So, how you answer that question, if it's not on your credit report, just understand it will be used against you. So, who say that you have a child support obligation? If it's not showing, do they need to know that? That's what I'm saying. All of that can count towards your DTI. So that's the other back part of it. Using that strategy, if you need to kind of bring down and do some consolidation, and a lot of people need loans because they have high credit card debt. Using that strategy, you might have to target that card and throw your paycheck on there in order for you to qualify. But make sure you know the other end of that so you don't get caught up is those questions. They're looking at debt to income. So if you have a spouse, if you have other people in your household and it says household income, add all the income in. Okay, so child support, if you're getting that, If your child is getting some kind of, say, if they have a disability and that income, add in all your income. If you have a spouse, if you have a partner, add their income on as part of that household income, and make sure you watch the questions that I'm telling you. They are tracking for that DTI. So that might be your opportunity in order to shift some of that debt. Another one, y'all look at your credit cards. Sometimes you're saying, hey, I don't have the money there, but check with your credit card companies. There could be balance transfers. So Discover is a big one. Your current credit card companies, that you already have a relationship with. Discovers, a lot of times they may send you checks and your card for 24 months, maybe 18 months, transferring on over that balance to another card. You might get 0% interest for 18 months. That could save you some money and then bring down that utilization on that particular card that you might, and without you coming with money out of your pocket. So look at your other available cards, see if you can shift some of those obligations. If you maybe even, you have the cash in order to shift that, if it's not a balance transfer, some of those things on that other card that's cleared up, you might pay your car insurance on that card. And if it's $200, now that free up $200 that you were paying out of your bank account, now you can put it towards that other particular card that's problematic and shift that debt to the other credit card. You can go to their website and make a payment, or call your insurance agent and use that other credit card that doesn't have a higher balance than to pay that car insurance for that month, and various other things. Some of you guys, maybe even your the rental company that you have, some of the portals will let you make payments on from your credit card, so you can use that. Another thing you can is Milio payments. That's another service. You can look at Milio Plastic. One thing, plastic is getting more on the radar, and I will tell you, Milio and Plastic, um, anything Chase or American Express is going to be pretty much a no-go. That could shut your card down. I believe a lot of Visa cards is a no-go with that. Their Visa is on it. So mostly your MasterCards. So if you want to pull some of that money off of that card without getting that cash advance, which is a higher interest rate, you can use sites like Milio Payments, and they will charge you a fee, a processing fee, and also Plastic. But mostly it's going to be your MasterCards. So if you are applying for credit cards and they have a MasterCard and the Visa logo, this might be your reason why you need to go with that MasterCard logo. Okay, Bank of America is one of them. They might give you an option. You might want to go with the MasterCard, especially if it's a business credit card. That's not reporting to your credit report. That's another way you can shift that overnight by working on that utilization, is shifting that to a business credit card. So some of my people that's over a 700 credit score, if you have not started to get into business credit, that can be another way to help shift some of that debt. But you may have to make some moves if you already have higher utilization on some other cards. So with my elite credit system, if you guys need more personalized, where I can look at it, and if you need to come up with a plan, we can do that there. But that may be for some of you guys who credit is, you don't have any bankruptcies right now, And if you do, like I said, if you have items on your credit report, one of the things, even with bankruptcies, we have people that start to work on getting that off. If you get one bureau cleaned up, that's what we're going to leverage to go for that business credit. So there are ways, but that's another way. So you can permanently hide that utilization going towards that business credit cards. Okay. Doing that. Or so then you don't see that. There are also ways, you guys, getting business credit cards in your own personal name without it reporting on your credit report. Just having the EIN number and it don't report to your social security number. You can also take that approach, but you want to make sure that you're picking the right companies that will not report, because not every company, if the card is in your own personal name as a business, some companies like American Express, they don't allow that. You have to be an LLC. So they will give you a business credit card, but they're going to report that to your personal credit. So that's one you would not try that with. Chase, you can do it. Bank of America, places like Navy Federal, there's other companies that will allow that. Citibank. So and there's other banks that will allow that. So not only do you get your LLC, get business credit that doesn't report to your personal credit, you can also leverage your own name to get other credit cards as another business. But that's a strategy you can use, but that's a different way you would do it than what you guys will know how personal credit work. That's a whole nother different realm. And if we're talking about that, if you need help in the group, we can discuss that. That I would need a little more details on what's the best way for you guys to set up for a type of business. And we would need to pretty much know with that to kind of educate you on how business credit works. Business credit reporting is not like your personal credit reporting. So you got business credit bureaus, Equifax, business, Experian Business, and Dun and Bradstreet. So you can build credit. A lot of people think even to build business credit, you get a ton of merchant accounts, and that reports to Dun and Bradstreet. That's Dun and Bradstreet is more for merchant accounts. But the fastest way to build business credit is through credit cards. And you really want to focus on Experian Business and Equifax Business. And it's certain banks that report to all three for you. So, and some people say the Small Business Financial Exchange, that is not a credit bureau. That's technically not. It's really a nonprofit that they call. You can't even get your credit report from there. So a lot of people have a misconception about that. But business credit is another way that you can move, depending on where your credit score, to increase your credit score overnight by shifting that utilization over to business credit cards. There's just going to have to be a way that we would have to strategize to do that. Okay. So, those are ways that you can increase your credit score overnight. Another way that you guys can do the same way as utilization to affect it is authorized user accounts. Depending on when you're added on, that person who's adding you on as an authorized user, if you can get them to add you on in a window of time, just like I told you, the bureaus, the credit card company report to the bureaus at a certain time. They also can report your new credit line. Like, so if you're going on somebody as an authorized user, that same window of time, a lot of times, if you get in there before they report in that cycle, then that credit card that you're piggybacking off of, if it has more of a freed up credit line, that can be a way to increase your credit score overnight too. So as long as that person has controlled utilization on that credit card you're being added to, and positive payment history, that can help you to the best. Positive backdated payment history, a real sweet spot if you can get somebody who have a card positive payment history for 10 years, because that is going to help payment history and your age of credit for you and your utilization. So you would get all three of those positive areas of getting to improve your credit score with payment history, length or age of credit, and utilization. So you can do that in that same window of time. That person would just, what you would do, give them your social security number. If that company is not asking for your social security number, you want to be wary, because sometimes they can add you on as an authorized user, but not report it to your credit report. So they'll just have you on that card. You want to make sure that person that's adding you on, that that agent is asking for your social security number. Another way to streamline it, have that person to use their address for you. So you'll just be at that address. They'll ask where you live, just make it that person address. Let that person know, by them making you an authorized user, you will not be getting that card. You would not use that card. You just want it as a benefit to help you with your credit score. Also, ask that person, as soon as they get that card, they need to activate it, because many of them will not report if they don't call and turn that card on. And then they can tuck that card in their top drawer, put it away, and you never touch it. So that's another way where you guys can increase your credit score overnight. Another way that you can too, if you pay that card down, I would suggest you guys see with your credit card companies, can you increase your current credit card lines? That can help increase your credit score. So you want to make sure that it's not in hard inquiry in order to do that. Some of them you have to do it in the app. So Capital One, it's a soft pull for a credit line increase, especially if you're doing it in the app. Most of the times, if you're doing it in the app, it'll be a soft pull. I believe, well, not I believe, I know Discover. That's one if you do in the app. I believe also, oh, Discover, Navy Federal. I think that's a hard. It might be a soft pull. No, so I think True Citibank is a soft pull. I believe Chase is a hard pull. I know Chase, so stay away from Chase. And American Express, that's a soft pull that you can ask, and that you want to do in the app. Okay. Navy Fed is a hard pull. I believe, yeah, I believe Navy Fed. So yeah, somebody said Navy Fed is a hard pull. So stay away from Navy Federal if you're not sure. But Discover, soft pull. Capital One, a lot of you guys have Capital One. That's a soft pull. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Murphy. I really appreciate the super chat. You always, super sticker. You always support the live. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Much blessing. So those are some of the ways that you guys, if you're trying to increase your credit score. Oh, another one that you guys can use is Ava. And Meet Ava will report. I will leave that link. That one within 24 hours too. It's about 3 days. They do report to, but as far as seeing it show up, they're going to say within about 3 days. Sometimes they say 24 hours. So You can sometimes add a positive line of credit. And for some of you guys, that can help also increase your credit score to help with your utilization. So, those are the ways that if you're looking to increase your credit score overnight, focus on that credit card utilization. You can add number one, you can pay those cards down within the window of time. Like I said, before the report date. That's when they're reporting to the credit bureaus. Generally, that's going to be 4 days after your credit card due date. That's one way. Second way, you can be added on as an authorized user. So if somebody adds you on as an authorized user, that can work for you too within that same window of time. But you want to make sure you give that company enough time so they can add on and that show up on your credit report. The other way, third way, requesting an increase. So if you get that increase approved before that same report date, that can show up on your credit report for you to give you that increase. So that's another one. If it's a soft pull, just investigate out your company, or you can call sometime. Don't have them to do it with the agent because a lot of times that can, but just ask them and tell them, I do not want one. I'm just asking. Or you can Google your company and then go ahead and see if you can get that increase before the report date with that credit card company. Okay. So you can see that new change. If you miss that window of time, you're going to have to wait 30 days before it show up. And if you're trying to get this done, you're trying to get it done. So focusing on that utilization is one of those ways to increase your credit scores. So that can help. And like I said, with the elite credit system, we use smart credit. We have score boost, and that can also help you just show you how many points that you need to get, and it'll tell you which cards to pay and what date. Like I said, if you need my help in the elite credit system, we can look at it together and put together a plan for your cards and how to pay that off. And we can get more personal information. What I've been doing with the group too, I'm able to see your credit scores. So I've been making a list for the people in the group for companies if they're trying to go for HELOC loans, personal loans, more of a tailored list of what I like pre-approvals. I don't want you guys to go in and get a ton of hard inquiries. And depending on your credit score, looking for banks that pull exclusively from that credit bureau, which has your highest score. So that can be another way so you can have more success. So we're going to read some of your questions. Diamond, if you can come up, we'll go through some.
Yes. So
Yeah.
someone first asked, Nancy asked, what about student loans? Do you have any advice about student loans?
What issues do you have about student loans? I'm going to make a video because they did change up the uh income driven plans. The Trump administration just did, because it was a situation where it was in court because they were trying to change the income driven plans that was first constructed under the George Bush Jr., and many people been paying that. The judge did approve that over those 10 years, those people who have been paying in that, those programs will stay in place. But what if you can give me a little more detail, what question exactly you have about student loans? What's your issue with the student loan?
In
And
the
real quick, Miss Murphy said, please stray away from Chase because it's a hard pull. Yes. Then banking is very complicated because the minimum has to have 15,000 minimum also charge you massive fees. So it's important not to bank. So she's saying she's not a fan of Chase. Chase does have they do have some higher interest rate. I will say that. They have been cutting some credit lines. They've been cutting some credit lines over there. I ain't gonna front on you. They have been. Now, let's talk about that because Chase did cut my credit line. Their self. Chase, we're gonna have to talk. Can we talk for a minute? Chase did. Now I ain't gonna do it all the way because they ain't do nothing with them business credit cards, but Chase will cut you. Okay. They like an older gentleman back from the civil rights movement. Do not mess with them because they'll cut you. They will cut you. Bank of America will cut you. They cut me. Recently. Now, Chase did it on the personal side. Bank of America said, you don't need all of this right here on the business side. So they did come and recoup. You deal with them bigger banks, American Express is checking up. You remember Beyonce, let me check up on it? They going to check up on it. They asked for them transcripts. They said, but they know that they going to check up on it. Okay, so just let y'all know, get your paperwork in order because Chase is out here tapping pockets. They want to know what it really is. So they going with them transcripts. So just keep in mind, them big banks, they out here on the prowl. Navy Federal have also sent us all a warning. Don't play. Don't make us do this. Because did you get that, Diamond? Because they sent that out, that email.
They cut my cut. I know they cut mine down too.
They cut it? Yeah. Really? Oh my God. I don't want to talk about them. I don't need to cut me too. I ain't got they all cut. And she said I ended up consolidating it. Y'all, if they cut you, I'm telling you, and I ain't being funny. Before, remember what we just said before the report date? Remember what I said? That before that worked there too. If they cut, you get that notice in the mail that they cut them credit lines before it show up on your credit report. You better move like Michael Jackson, like a smooth criminal, and slide on somewhere else and go and apply for it. Now, I know y'all hate Synchrony, but they might be a place where you might have to go low when they go low with the credit because they might go high. You might need to check out Walmart. They got a card over there rocking and rolling. You might need to go over there. Okay. You might have to go to these store cards. I know a lot of people be talking crap about them. But if you lose a credit line, you need to try to hurry up before it show on your credit report because that's going to tank your credit score. See if you guys can get another credit card. Okay. And better yet, search for one with a balance transfer. Let me say it again. I just gave y'all a golden tip. Hurry up and search for one with the balance transfer. Because like I said, until that date, after that due date, that credit line cut is not going to show up. So what you might have to do if they want all that money, now take that balance transfer offer of that other credit card and move some of that debt over there so it does not crush your utilization. So please do that. Somebody says synchronize with Secret. They've been loyal to you. Now you, Miss Murphy, that's good. She's saying Synchrony has been loyal. Some people have bad experience with them. Some people don't. I will say Capital One will. I hate that they pull from all three, but they might be an option. They might not give you a huge credit line, but them store cards, Victoria's Secret, you might need to go to them store cards, Macy's, JC Penney. You might need to go over there and see if you can get a store card. Just look for Synchrony. Why I like them, they have soft pull pre-approval. Even y'all, if they cut you like that, even if you can just get the store without the MasterCard and Visa logo, that's going to help your utilization out. if you lose that. Okay. So somebody said, what about City? I believe City is a soft pull. I'm not sure. I have a City card. I'll go and figure it out. But I do know with City, they do have that balance transfer. And they have in their system where you can just switch that payment out with Citibank. Citibank do, but I don't know if they have a soft pull. I will definitely find out on that for the increase with City. I believe City do, if I'm not mistaken. Diamond, we could take, and I'll look it up right now. Let me see if City have one. Go ahead. We'll answer.
Okay, so we had a question from Mr. Boyd that said, I hear the talk about Trump going away from FICO, but what is a realistic timeline that may happen?
It's not going to be a positive thing. I'm going to have to do a video on that, and I'll touch on it. What they're trying to move over to, and this, I think I talked about it last week. You guys, it's actually, it might be a even worse scenario, because what these banks are going to try to do, if you ever dealt with Plaid, how it connects to your account, they're going to see all those deductions out of that account. And what they're going to get a sense of is how much are you really, what is your real disposable income? For instance, that I said earlier in the live, for your DTI, hey, if your rent is $2,000, you ain't really got to state that. When they ask that, it could be $1,000. But when they connect with Plaid, they're going to see how much going out of your bank account. They're going to conduct all that. Even if you on medication, some people that's on, let's say, insulin, and you spend a lot on medication, and that's a faithful deduction, that's going to be stuff they count against you. Like I just said with the child support, if they're asking, are you paying child support? If it's not showing up on your credit report, they don't know about it. Connecting to your bank account, they will. So what they're saying, with that right size credit, with your FICO score, you can hide that. If it's not reporting, then they don't know about it. A lot of it they don't like is these buy here, pay here. Some of them are still not reporting. They don't want you to have banking outside of them. So it's a sad situation, but they're going to know how much you're spending on groceries, and you may see those credit lines cut a little. So it just depends on what you're going for. It might be positive if you're a person that makes a lot of money and you got trouble credit. It could work, but depending on what you're spending and your debt obligations, your DTI, it could be this can be really a mess. Because let's say with business credit, a lot of y'all don't understand why business credit, you don't have to state your annual income because you don't have any. It's what's your projected income. What's your projected income? A lot of you guys don't understand. Even if whatever you state on your tax returns, if you're saying, hey, I made 150,000 and your debt obligation is 40,000 in tax, you might say that's bad. But guess what? Now what you can go to the bank for to borrow, you can borrow that, and a lot of people amend those taxes. Okay. So they know people have been uh doing other things to get lending because they'll amend those taxes, but that wasn't the income they were making. And you might have got access to millions. Oh, they trying to put a stop to that. So them, by connecting to Plaid and knowing your cash flow, they gonna know that's a lie. So is it better? It's not going to work out to be that way. I mean, right now, even with debts that you owe on your credit report, you can dispute it off. And if you get it off, they don't know about it no more. But some of this stuff now, if you trying to get owner financing or you working different back doors, you cash apping your child that's in college, they can take all of that now as against your disposable income, because that's stuff that is not showing up on your credit report. So it's really not, It's really not helpful. I'm not. It's going to be another way that the system kind of what you call it, kind of trap you up.
And now we have another question that was from Terrace, who said, my score dropped 13 points and I had not been late at all, and I only used one card.
And you haven't been have you been applying? That can be a couple of different things. Have you been applying for credit? Because hard inquiries that can change. If you have student loans, uh different things could change why your score dropped. I'm going to need to use, but you saying that it could be your utilization, and you said I haven't been late at all. I only have one. You might have went up if you charge some on that card. You might have your utilization went up on that credit card, and that can cause your score to drop. So I will look at the utilization, like I said first. When in doubt, if your score dropped, you guys, you haven't been late. Always first look at your overall utilization. If it's over 30%, you're going to see start to see little decreases in your credit score. So hopefully that helps.
Someone else said Capital One is taking so long to raise my utilization. Do you have any ideas on how to fix this?
You mean they're taking long to show that your utilization is paid down or increase your credit line? Is that because raising your utilization is a bad thing? That means available credit on that card. So if I have a $4,000 credit card, I'm using $3,000 of it. That's high utilization, and you get penalized for that. But if you have a $4,000 credit card and you're only using $20 on that card, your utilization is low. So I believe you mean a credit line increase, meaning that them actually giving you more of a credit line. So if I have a $4,000 credit line, that they increase it to $5,000. With Capital One, you got to have a lot of you have to use it a lot and pay it off. They really want you to use that, and they're notorious for not increasing your credit card limit. They're notorious for that. So sometimes with Capital One, the answer could to apply for another card or go to another bank. I'll be honest, they're a good place to start many a times, but you really have to put a lot in a 90-day window. Use that card and make sure you pay it off for the next 90 days. Then go for that credit limit increase. So hopefully that helps. And I think is that Miguel? I don't know what you're talking about with the USCC. And then if you got some information for us, because I love how people talk that, but can you get an apartment off of that? Can you please explain that in the comments to us? Because we love, this is a panel that we can get some education. But I love how people talk about it's the private and it's the what you call it. Do you have any answers, Sway? No, you don't. So that don't help nobody do anything, because I love all the UCC people talking about that. But can you show us some of y'all that's flexing and using that without getting locked up? I'll wait for it, because I'm not against it, but we got to see somebody work it. You know what I'm saying? I know what you say. It's a private account over there. Y'all don't understand the private and the masonry, currency, merchant. Yeah, we get all of that, baby. But that ain't helping people right now. So unless you got answers, Sway, we're going to need for you to decrease and let me increase. Thank you. Let's go. It is no money. You ain't telling me nothing that we don't know. We all know it ain't no money. We understand it's called currency. Okay, it's in a medium of exchange. We understand that. But are you living and you're talking all of that, but you're still subject to the matrix, aren't you? Are you actually paying your light bill? on what you saying. No, you using the currency or the credit card. So unless you have some answers on how the people can move around or explain to us how you're moving around, then we ain't got time for that. Thank you. No, I'm just being keeping it real. Then we're glad. I'm the first one to listen if you got you busting a move. But Wesley Snipes tried to not pay. If Wesley, being Nestle as he is, still got locked up, wasn't he Blade? Was he playing a vampire? He couldn't get up out of it. Brother, please let us know. I'm not being funny. I'm just saying I hate when people ramble a bunch of stuff. We got it. We know there's an Illuminati, but what can we do about it? You got a plan? You got a it's Skull of Bones. Okay. But how we there's Bohemian Grove. Okay. But how are we supposed to move around about it? Unfortunately, the rest of us have to get food to eat. And knowing about the USCC code ain't helping us do all that. So some of us is not that I don't know if it's even helping you. I'll be honest, unless you can give us a plan, I would myself give you space on this platform. If it ain't going to get me locked up and I examine it out, I'll be the first one. But until then, the rest of us have to use this system. That's what we're subject to. So, what's the next question? No, I'm being dead serious. I'm just
yeah. Michelle Murphy asks, do you guys offer direct assistance like 101 if we're signed up to the elite credit system? Can you explain how the elite credit system works and how people can have 101s with you?
Well, in the elite credit system, there's an option if you want to do a one-on-one with us in the system. Well, with me in the system, because Diamond doesn't handle that. But we have our Zoom meeting on every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what I do is go over everybody. If you have questions about your situation, I can look into it and we go over what you have going on. I have access to the system and I can see what your issue is. If you have a negative item, then it's easier if I can talk to you so we can strategize depending on how that came about. It may be other options that you're not taking to get that off faster. So one of the situations which y'all all can use, if you have a charge off, make sure you guys are signing up for the IRS website and get access to your account. Many of these companies have discharged those debts. They have created a 1099-C. Go and see if they discharge that charge off. And you can see the proof right there. And you may have never didn't receive that in the mail. So if they discharge that debt, then you guys can use that to get that debt off. You can send it to the credit bureaus to show that that debt was no longer owed because they discharged the debt. So it all depends on what's going on with you personally. A lot of you guys, you might need strategies. Another thing to get your old addresses off. And if you had any data breaches, things like that, then, we can help you get that together. And if you need some kind of financing, we can look at your credit scores and which is your strongest one and put together a list of where you can go and where you have the best option, where they pull exclusively the banks from that bureau. So that's one of the ways.
Michelle also said, right, because if they charge it off, why are they still trying to collect?
Now, it depends. And that's why I said you want to go and look to see if they discharged the debt. If they still have the debt and they didn't discharge it, they still can pursue that debt. Now, what you're going to know if they did not sell that debt, if they sold the debt, you'll see the balance of it at zero. That means they sold that debt off. But if you still see a balance, they might have not wrote that debt off and they're still trying to collect off of that. It doesn't mean that you can't get it off of your credit report and dispute it. It just changed the strategy on the best option, on the best way to get it off.
Okay, and then we had a question that said, how do you get an increase with Navy Federal without a hard inquiry, just to pull your credit score up?
You can't. They do. Navy Federal does hard inquiries.
Mm.
They do for increase, a credit score increase most of the times. The ones I know, they did a hard pull. You can do it in the app, but a lot of times some people claim it didn't hit them, but many a time I know every time I did it, they gave they pulled my credit for a credit line increase. Another thing with Navy Federal that's weird, if you been denied, let's say for a credit line increase, for some reason they'll give you a second card or a third card over the increase. I usually, if I haven't used all three of those cards, um, you might be better off by trying to just go for another card. Go and pre-approve and make sure it's past that 100 days. I know people say 91 days. Just make sure you're waiting. If you went for that credit line increase, you got to wait. If you got denied or if you got it, you still have to wait with Navy Federal. But another thing, if you used all three, you need to look on that business side. So you can get with Navy Federal a business credit card in your own personal name. But like I said, you want to set up to make sure it's not reported to your personal credit report. You don't want to use your social security in order to get a business credit card. So you can get a business account in your own personal name. So that could be a backup.
As far as I see, that was the last question that we had. If anyone has questions, please do leave them in the comments section or in the chat, please. So that was our last question for the night.
All right. Well, that's and I do have a flip to that. If you want to get uh increase in your Navy Federal without a hard inquiry, if you authorized user, that's what you can do. If for instance, Diamond have a Navy Fed credit card, or you just add, if your spouse have a card, just be added on as an authorized user. So most of them will not hard pull you or the person that has the card.
Mm.
If you're added on as an authorized user. So that can give you that effect of an increase in your credit score by being added on. Now, I believe the exception is American Express. If you're adding on a child user that's under 14, they may pull you. But if that person is over 18, it's not a hard pull. That's another thing, you guys, too. Make sure if you have decent credit lines, start adding your kids on. Some of these cards will allow you to add your kids on at 12 and 14. So start building credit for them. Make sure, though, you're not getting late payments on that card. If you get in financial trouble, go and take them off. But it is good to start building your kids' credit now so they don't have to build on their own. I think what Diamond you had, I know Faith had like a 750 credit score. You had a higher credit score because when they came out, I added them beforehand on my credit cards. So I understand people have hard times. I did too. Just make sure, even if you don't have to add them on every credit card, just one card that you're dedicating or two cards, I'm going to help my kids build. And to be honest, you guys, this might be a help to you because if things go left, that child turn 18, they might have to help you rebuild. And so by you building your kids' credit, and what I mean by that, not saying you get credit cards in your kids' name and ruin their name. I'm just saying that then as they're getting more credit, then they can add you on. So, or that kid might have to be the one to step up to help you get an apartment. If they're living with you anyway and you had some financial trouble, you might have the income, but they may have the strong credit score. So we want y'all to think about ways to work together. I know everybody has such an independent mindset, but the way the economy is going with job loss, and like I said, some of these changes with, I want to make sure, even with Trump canceling the credit bureaus, some of these things like working with your accounts, they're going to look at that cash flow. You're not going to be able to front it out. Okay. There is some advantages with the FICO score. They might not know all about your business or your spending. If you're a person that have a lot of groceries, groceries are high. And if you got a family of 4, your grocery bill might be $1,000 a month. And if they're consistently seeing that come out of your bank account, most of the times Plaid is looking at a 90-day window. Always know banks look at a 90-day window, then that can leave you locked in. They get into your business and how much money a lot of time is left over in your account that you keep as savings. And that's where they're going with the right size credit. That's bull crap. They're always trying to find a way to limit people. It's really getting real weird out here. They're trying to find ways when you got home prices over 400,000, meaning like you almost need, if you never owned a home before, a income like close a household income of 150,000 just to try to qualify for a home. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. And then even if you go on FHA, you know, that's 3.5% down. You still have the money to put down. They still want to see savings in your account. It's not like they just letting you, and then you have closing costs. Yeah, it's programs out there, but which may help you in your local area with closing, but it's still a lot to come up with. And they're going to deduct your car payment, your credit card payments, those student loan obligations. So they know a lot of people have student loans. How was people even supposed to make income? And now a lot of these government jobs, which were supposed to be good jobs, Amazon laying off, UPS, these, oh, I forgot GM, a lot of auto, these are supposed to be good, solid jobs. A lot of those are going away. And unfortunately, with AI, it's not going to look like it's going to be any better, to be honest with you guys. So, right now, you want to figure out with your family how to work together. I know different people feel different ways about politics, but don't let that divide your family up on how it feel, because red or blue, as I say, neither is for you. Neither. Both sides are trying to figure out how to get their family and their children more. Rand Paul, Sean Paul, they trying to get every Paul in their family up there. Trump got his family set up. So just make sure that you're setting up your family. Don't let all this foolishness stop your agenda. It's made for people, so you guys to fight with each other, so you don't look at what they're doing. And so don't get rocked to sleep. All of them, they're all in the same gang. Like that song back in the day, we are all in the same, they're all in the same gang. Don't let them fool you. Both sides work for billionaires and millionaires, and their true constituents is not you. They're working for a government interest. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Try more than ever to work together. If you can go on loans, if y'all can build together as a family. I know we can't work with everybody. Everybody don't have the right mindset, but who y'all can educate, try to help educate. God, I know not everybody don't want to listen, but maybe these hard times will make people more open to listening to you, especially if you have wisdom. Okay, you're the one with the sense in the room. Maybe this is being done for a reason. People have to stop depending on this government. We can see that they're not, as Michael Jackson said, all I really know is that they don't really care about us. They don't care. Okay. So they're both sides sitting pretty at home. They eating, all they loved ones eating. Ain't on neither side, ain't nobody in their family all upset because Snap is shut off. They're fine. So we got to think about us ourselves and try to cut out. I know it just sounds like, can we all just get along like Rodney King? But you need to as much as possible. You need to look at how they moving. Oh, they moving like a unit on both sides. They tying up together on both sides. They not neither side moving for their own interests, and it's all political of them getting back in. They're worried about their jobs. So worry about you and your family. Work in your community because we're gonna need it on the ground level. It's really not. It this look real bad out here. I don't like to be I don't like to be negative, but it's bad out here. So Diamond, you can come up. I just came from a funeral. Rest in peace to my aunt Dot. But the it was like that night. They's like, we're just cutting flights. So many people got stranded. I almost got stranded. It was like they was like just cutting flights. Those poor people there working. There's some of them people I'm seeing now, it's like, yo, they going to work. This one lady is getting now, she's been furloughed for 2 months and they're putting notices on her door. And like, for being late for her rent. This is really a bad situation. And you guys, this going to have repercussions after this open back up. That I think a lot of this, if these flights is going into the holiday season, messing with airlines, don't think even with Snap, a lot of companies, grocery stores, that's income for them that they have every month that they can actually they were these corporations had baked in as a positive cash flow. Now, if they're getting hit up, and I'm not saying I'm for corporations, but what they're the first thing they're going to do is cut jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So now that leads to other jobs that wasn't affected coming down the pipeline. And I know my heart go out for y'all because you're feeling the pressure on these jobs. They're really trying to push people out so they don't hire people back and trying to make you do more work. And like Miss Murphy is saying, even WIC too, babies, concerning babies, a lot of these kids depend on that. Parents are paying before care. And it's not like people aren't working. It's a lot of people working that's getting SNAP benefits. They need that to make hell. All of us need SNAP benefits on how food is. They should give all of us SNAP benefits right now. Let's be honest. Food is high.
Mm-hmm.
Gas is high. Beef is high. Who had a hamburger? I haven't been eating beef. I've been getting chicken legs, chicken thighs. Me and my husband been cutting it down, eating chicken because everything is expensive. I don't even buy ground beef. What you put me on ground chicken.
Turkey, yeah, ground turkey and ground chicken.
Chicken. Isn't that crazy? Ground chicken? I
Yep.
mean, turkey is cheaper than ground beef right now. That it is very it's see, they saying it is terrible in Baton Rouge. It's terrible now. And it's so sad, y'all. We done as Americans, you're talking about wow, we're turning to a third world country. This like I thought what made us a first world country, you don't have the poor out. And they got people so bitter. The amazing part, and I no shade to any men, is some men rejoicing that mothers can't feed their kids. And no shade to any men. I'm not saying this shade is a man thing. Or you got people rejoicing and talking about they making all kind of arbitrary arguments. Oh, it's a lot of them um selling their food stamp. Really, what's the numbers on that, y'all? Are we just making boogeyman things? But I
Mm,
tell you one thing, I tell you who did steal money. I'm still, and I bring it up every time. Neither side asking them corporations to pay back them PPP loans, EDIN loans. See, y'all too busy being bitter at people next to you because they propping that propaganda. So you could be mad at one another. But you don't catch them talking about the big corporate because that's who pay them. That's who pay them. Of course, they can't talk about their masters. That's why they know that's what was that young boy named Luigi that shot up that CEO of United Healthcare. I am not saying that's right. I do not condone that. But you notice how the media outlets how they portrayed that because big pharma corporations and all of that, those healthcare corporations is who pay them their ads.
yeah.
So just understand, y'all. They, I'm telling you, watch how, um, watch how they're pumping anger there. And I listen. I don't know what's going on why they got the really government shut down, but I gotta say, whether you red or blue or whatever. I gotta put it on the Trump administration, baby. When you are the leader, or you first rule of management, everything's your fault. You
Hmm.
have to learn how to cross lines. You have to learn how to pretty much negotiate. And I had said that in a video, and a lot of people got mad. But no, it is what it is. You got it. You got. I mean, that's just being fair. You have to. You being a leader. If even when Joe Biden, when Obama had shut down, that's on him. That's on whoever.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the first rule of leadership. So when they get to fire, when a corporation is doing bad, they look at the CEO. Okay, so he's the CEO. So he have to learn, or he's gonna have to get it done. It is on his watch. High inflation was on Joe Biden watch. That's why he lost. Him and Kamala Harris. It was high inflation. Prices was up. Food was up. So it goes for Trump too. It goes for everybody. That's why I said facts over feelings. Don't take it personal. Don't, hey, that's what it is. But so many people are so invested because they have built this ideological idea aligning that I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a liberal, I am an independent person. What about I am American? I am an American. We can't. It's just everybody playing both sides. I'll be honest. It's just, it's crazy. The National Guard, people say, hey, they got National Guards in the city. But hey, in New York, y'all was asking for National Guards when it was all the crime in the subway. So, okay, let's have a what? Trump and them talk about state rights. But now they didn't just flip flop on these medical bills, and you're trying to take away state rights. The Republican, I thought y'all was all about state rights. Now you're not about state rights. All of them is a big walking contradiction when they get ready. Republicans, I'm for the police until y'all bust the police up in the head when you ran up on Capitol Hill. And then one of them officers died.
I think so. Yeah.
The officer always right. I ain't against no officers. As
Hmm.
what Lil Wayne say, Mrs. Officer. I ain't against any officers, but y'all bust the officer in the head. Aren't you? I thought you was for the police. Then the cops are always right, except when it comes to y'all. Now then Trump being persecuted. You said you can't have like, is the police is or not, and then if you black and you say, hey, you're woke. It's crazy. Then if you say some things, I don't think a whole bunch of people need to be coming in our country unchecked. That's just dang going common sense. All right. Oh, well, you are xenophobic. Well, is that a word? That's just common sense. I think we need to check those. I don't think people without documents should have driver's license. I can't have one. So I'm just saying both sides is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's all very contradictory. They just do it when it's for their benefit to get at people. We have to remain common sense, and they put these poison pills on both sides because they want you to pick a struggle. You know what I'm saying? What do you always call it, Diamond? It's control opposition.
Yes.
It's political theater. That's all it is. And they're friends in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, that's Mitch McConnell, not Mitch, what is his name? The one out of New York, Chuck Schumer. Trump gave him his first check to get started. They all have these relationships. And I'm not saying one is bad and one is not. I'm just saying don't let them play in your face. They can be friends as long as it benefit their interest. Okay? So don't let you fall out with family. People that actually did something for you, for Chuck Schumer, or for a Donald Trump, a Nancy, what? How y'all falling out as family? Focus on working together because that's what they do with their family. Let it be what it is. You only get one vote. So if your family voted for somebody you did not care for, baby, they only got one vote. and let it go. Most of y'all states, you didn't really, it's only swing states that dictate that. Anyway, but I don't care if you sitting in New Jersey, your vote it really ain't matter anyway. It was gonna go blue either way. It was close, but it was just gonna go blue. Certain things it just you in Texas, it was gonna go red anyway. Your Democratic vote was just not gonna go nowhere. It's the swing states that really win the election. Those are the only places matter. So why even fall out with your family? Start to strategize, work with your family, educate your family on credit right now. Am I saying the credit is the end all be all? No. Do not just wholly depend on credit. I'm telling y'all, get some land, work for yourself. Start going back to the old school. Go to the old school little house on the prairie. Y'all might have to buy some land and y'all all move there. If you get 2 acres and 5 of y'all living there, y'all won't even see each other. Okay? Y'all can just about split that up and y'all can go to the bank. Y'all can use all of y'all income that y'all got in, together, and y'all can build you your own home, and then this be for your family. Don't get caught up with fighting with one another. So I'll land that plan, but I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Y'all don't let this propaganda get you because it's voices behind it. Diamond to tell you, we have gotten brand deals. What we get offers. Don't mean you always take it. But what I'm telling y'all is many voices in this world and none without significant. Apostle Paul, who is these voices speaking for? Most of it, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, they are out there because of ads. Because of ads. Those programs, all those programs you see, Love and Hip Hop, what's keeping those paid is the advertisers. So who voice are they speaking for? Who agenda are they speaking for? Even me. Hey, look at me. Who agenda is Sherry speaking for? Hey, question everything. I'm just saying don't just walk in the dark. I'm just letting y'all, I'm pulling back the veil. There are, out of all these voices, the majority of the time, they're representing something. Okay, it's some kind of way. They're representing. So just watch. It's a reason why a lot of echo chambers and things like that. Examine everything. Like nothing against Charlie Kirk, but just I'm just using that as example. That was something. Turning Point USA, they got a lot of donations. They got to donate donations. There was somebody funding that agenda. It's I'm not saying agenda, but that organization. There's donors behind every organization's colleges. It's influence there. So where's where follow the money trail. So even with red and blue, there's money being given, there's voices behind them, there's agendas, and most of the time it is not for your good. Okay, so as somebody said, question everything. And a lot of time when you got all this social stuff going on, they're trying, these corporations, to get you focused on something which is no benefit for you. Okay, it's no benefit for you. Let's talk about it. It's no money in it for you. They want you to talk about social issues as a red herring. Okay, that's so I can't give you paid leave if you're pregnant. That's so y'all don't turn and look at me on this job to pay for your benefits. Let's distract. Stay focused. That's all I'm saying. Look at y'all situation. Stay focused. It's more about what's going on in your house than that White House. All right. So that's all I gotta say. I'll be praying for everybody. I feel so bad with those with the SNAP benefits. I know food is high. I don't want y'all to even feel bad about your credit. A lot of people felt shame, but at this time, it is not people's fault. That's I had to go off on somebody. Oh, people need to pay their bills. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Inflation is high. People been paying their bills. This ain't mismanagement. How's it mismanagement if you've been on a job for years and you get laid off? How's it mismanagement? Somebody gets sick. How is that mismanagement? Out of nowhere, your rent went up during the pandemic by $300 to $600, and you ain't even do anything. How is that your fault? How is that being irresponsible? And everything went up except for your paycheck. So at this point, miss me with all of that. And I'm not saying I'm behind on my bills. I'm not all of that. I'm surviving. I mean, I guess I could whatever or say something about somebody, but wow, are y'all never been through nothing? If not, your day is coming. I don't think now is the time. As my father said, every dog got his day. And if you a good enough dog, you can have 2 days. Okay? Don't think you gonna be in your position forever. And God knows you might have kids. As somebody said, where's the grace? You know what I'm saying? Where's the grace? You never know where you're gonna be. You're not even in charge over your life. You might not wake up tomorrow and you don't know where your kids and your grandkids would be. All I say, you better repent. Because as my grandmother, my great grandmother would say, as my mom would say, you never know who at the end of your life is going to bring you a glass of water. Okay? The same one on the SNAP benefit might be the what is that called? The nurse's aide, okay? That's taking care of you at the end of your life. Have a little compassion. That's all I say. If it's anything that disturbed me, it's people gloating on other people's downfall. Are you that bitter? Are you that petty? Oh, CNA, thank you. The CNA that might be taking care of you. That might be taking care of your wife if they get dementia. Some of y'all are your husband. What you think you're gonna have your mind? And some of y'all kids will throw you right in the nursing home because you so hard-hearted. You done raised hard-hearted children too. Okay? So if you dig one ditch, you better dig two, because the ditch that you're digging may be for you. Understand that. So that's all I got to say. Just have grace for one another. I don't laugh at nobody downfall. I try not to, even from my enemies. God will handle people. And sometimes God can handle people better than you can handle people. Most of the time, God gonna handle them better than you ever could. Okay? So please, hopefully this information, I ain't mean to get on that tangent, but I'm just saying, if people are being bitter, I mean, really, what somebody said, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. Now is not the time to laugh at people. And you better watch. you laughing at people. You better watch what you're saying out on these streets. People are really, really stressed and you might get hurt. I'm dead serious. I don't think now is the time to get out here and get stupid over some social media clout talking crazy. And the ones out here flexing like um I got food stamps and I've been selling. A lot of these people be lying on TikTok just for some followers, all right? Trigger content. So a lot of these people for attention is doing a lot of things, and shame on you too. Okay? Shame on you. Have a little morals. And y'all all got to watch what you're doing when you're doing that, cuz you can mess around and get hurt. These people are on the edge. Stop playing with folks. That's all I'm saying. Even on your jobs, if your managers, watch how you approaching folks. People are really on the edge. Depression, suicide, all of that is out here because people don't know what to do next. People are overwhelmed. So have some grace because it could be your life too. All right. People are not, from what I say, a lot of people are not, they're not feeling it. You go into the airport, have grace with the TSA. Have grace with those people. They're working, they're under stress. So, as Bobby Brown said, don't be cruel because I would never be that cruel to you. Do unto others as you want them to do to you. So, oh, that's what I say. But I see a lot of content that's just dancing on somebody's downfall. It's just down. No. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, all right. Yeah, don't do it because people snapping. That's what, stop mishandling people. People are snapping out here, y'all. It's real dangerous. If y'all see any movement in the street that's off, y'all keep going. Keep going. Okay. Just, I'm not saying don't stop, like if you see something go on, but if you see disputes, you know, just handle with discretion. That's what I'm seeing when I'm moving around. People are on edge. So just just be careful. All right, Dami, you have anything to say? I'm sorry I went on that tangent, but it needed to be said.
No, I agree with everything that you said. Yeah.
Mess with me. I'm Diamond might snap for you right there. She look nice. We went on our cruise. We was in Belize. Oh, I'm like, what's wrong with you? It was too hot. She Don't do what she different. Leave me alone. Nah, I ain't snapping on nobody. I'm just saying, no, I feel bad. I don't like bullies of people or they down for. But
Yeah.
it's kids out here, and
Yeah.
people really can't feed their kids. A lot of them going to school. If them babies wasn't going to school, their mom and dad might not have the food to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's married couples out here. Even they saying they could barely make it. So.
Yeah.
That's that. I will say somebody in my group, one way y'all can explore, don't be surprised. I'm not suggesting this, but look into it. If you're having a tough time with your car payment and you've been paying on time, look out because a lot of these car companies or dealerships is having a rough time. So they've been taking trade-ins and actually giving you a lower financing rate. So somebody in our group, that was the option, and they got a newer car with a lower car payment. So if that really matters to you guys and you're in a pressing situation, you might want to even examine that option if your dealership is reaching out to you. Just don't let them shotgun your credit, but maybe be open to hear what they're saying. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. If you need anything, please feel free to email us. We will get back to you as soon as possible. We always appreciate you guys for coming out, taking out your time, just hearing us. Thank you to all of you guys. Miss Murphy, thank you so much for reaching out,
Mhm.
always supporting the live. We really appreciate you. And take care of yourself, you guys, and take care of one another. So, Diamond, anything you want to land with?
No, but if you have any questions we didn't answer, you can use this email, how to boost your credit at gmail.com. Also, if you want to join the Elite Credit System, you could go to theelitecredit.com or theelitecreditsystem.com. That will lead you there. And we will be back next week, same time, which was 9 p.m. EST. So thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. And also, don't forget that we do have free hard inquiry letters over at our website. So you guys, I'm going to leave the link there, and also the live will be on replay, and there will be links in the description box. Thank you guys so much for
And
joining.
you can leave your questions and we'll respond to the live too. So if you guys have questions,
Yes.
even after this end. All
Yes.
right. Thank you. Enjoy your night, everyone.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.